Sam, welcome to the Exchange Wire Kitchen.
Thanks for having me, John.
You're very welcome. I'm delighted to have you join me. First off, the all-important question. What coffee have you chosen?
I went for an iced latte today. The sun's out, seems like a nice day to go for an ice cold drink, so I've chosen that today.
It's a good spring day for it. Yeah, the sun is shining. We walked down to the coffee shop and it's a good one. So yeah, good choice. I've gone for a quite strong flat white as well. We were both at the Index post-Adweek party last night, so yes. I'm having a little recovery boost this morning with a stronger espresso coffee. But yeah, we've got lots to chat about. First off, tell me a little bit about your career and what you're doing now at Gumtree.
Yeah, sure. So I can start from when I got into the industry. So I've been in the industry for like around 5 years. Firstly, started doing media sales, cold calling. So, in a sweatbox, calling small SMEs and trying to sell thirds of a page, half a page, headlines, and so forth. So I was there for about a year. And then I moved on to a company called Brand Advance, and that was all around reaching diverse audiences at scale. So we did a lot of work there. And it was a great business in terms of what we're trying to do, showing up in the right places to the right people at the right time and making them feel relevant and feel seen. So I was there for over 2.5 years. Nice. Then moved to Mobstar. I was there for about a year, all around geo-contextual and targeting places that over-index for, particular types of people. So I was there for a year, and now I'm at Gumtree. I'm an agency sales manager, and essentially my role is to, go out to the agencies and evangelize why your brand should be spending on Gumtree. And at the moment, I'm repping PhD and Dentsu. Nice,
good stuff. So fairly, you've done a lot in 5 years in the industry, and as we've said, you're at Gumtree now. I'm going to give you the floor for a couple of minutes to give me your Gumtree pitch.
I think with Gumtree, the pitch and the sell is, especially when we're speaking to the agencies, it's all about that first-party data that we have. Yeah. We've been able to ingest that data for over 25 years, and essentially, we've got logged in first-party data. So already that just builds trust with any advertisers. And when people are on a platform, there's so many different intents and buying signals that we're seeing. So when you're reaching people on our platform, you're reaching people that are in a buying mode and a transactional mindset. And we're also able to just track them across the journey. So as we were speaking earlier, when people are on a platform, and you were saying this, John, they go in and actually go down to the nuances in terms of what they're looking for. So you said you might be looking stuff for your daughter. So from there, we know that you're your parent. So if we're working with a brand and they want to reach parents, we know that based on your search history within our platform, we can actually identify who you are. And essentially, Gumtree, like a walled garden, you can't get that data elsewhere. So that's how we kind of sell it. And I think a lot of people know about the Gumtree brand. It's been going around for like 25 years. But sometimes it kind of gets lost with, you've got all the other online marketplaces that are doing stuff. And we've been able to kind of still be in the forefront. So yeah, it's a good sell. And a lot of people like our team. We're good to have fun with. So that's how we're able to, navigate this big world of Adtech.
That's it, and that's, people buy into people like people, so that's such an interesting point. I think that's true. You have a nice team and you can go out and makes the job easier at least.
Sure.
But you've got, Gumtree is, like you say, it's a long-term brand now. Like I've known it basically my entire adult life.
Most people have.
I've known that Gumtree, and I've used Gumtree a lot. And I think that's super interesting with the first-party data.
Sure.
We've talked a lot about it recently with different people from across the industry, and just how important it's becoming now to have that kind of, you've got the data, you've got the logged in, you've got the intent.
Exactly.
And it's, it's powerful stuff, and it's really kind of pushing retail media forward. How are you seeing the retail landscape change?
Well, in terms of like the retail landscape, we see that people, especially now, in regards to how the internet's moving, the open web is shrinking, and most people that are on retail media platforms, they stay logged in. So again, that's just great intent when people are on the platform, they're searching. And the way we see it, it's more so in the sense of it's not going to be all about scale. It's going to be about what people are looking to do on that platform and what that intent is. So you may not have, the numbers of a Meta, for example, but as long as you've got people that are logged in with that intent and they're, communicating, you're able to kind of navigate that. So going back to Gumtree, what we essentially do, we've got a structure of how we kind of identify people. So we have a searcher, that's someone that's looked at or been within a particular vertical 3 times. A tender, that's searched 9 times. Yeah. Then we have an enthusiast, that's someone that's basically replying to adverts. And then we also have the seller. So we could just kind of see where people are. So in terms of retail, it's just more about that intent, that logged in data, people staying within that platform and that app, and that's who's going to win in terms of, scale.
So interesting. So yeah, you've got people like me searching 100 times for high quality coffee machine or something like that in my local area.
Exactly.
And it helps to for your buyers to define their audience as well.
For sure.
Super interesting. How in terms of how the space is developing, and particularly kind of how AI is pushing programmatic in the whole market space, how have you seen that change what you're doing at the moment?
I think it kind of helps us because in terms of how people are searching, it's changing now. Before it was all around keywords, and now you've even seen Google, they've changed their whole offering. They've got the AI overview. So now people don't have to, click on that blue link anymore. They're getting all that information within that AI overview. And I think that's a detriment to more so to publishers because people are on a publisher and it's essentially passive consumption. Whereas when you're doing something on a Gumtree or Amazon or anywhere where you're buying stuff, you're going to be logged in and you're going to more likely to go to that platform because you know what you need from there, whether it's buying a ticket or it's buying some clothes, buying food. So the way advertisers need to kind of show up is changing, and they're going to have to learn how to adjust to how people are going from that conversational element into LLMs and show up in the right places at the right time.
Yeah, and that's the tricky one. And it's, for publishers in particular, this is a challenge we're facing every day, and I've spoken to publishers about it and kind of how we're having to alter, what we do to be seen in these LLMs. I think for a brand like Gumtree, it's interesting because there is the commerce angle coming to LLMs.
For sure.
We've seen that's going to happen in buying in chatbot, basically. But Gumtree, you've already had people coming with an idea of what they wanted to purchase. So
Exactly.
It's not using that LLM as a step. Gumtree, there are competitors to you,
Yes.
but they will go directly because they want that buggy for a 3-year-old, or
For
they
sure.
want that, they know what they have already. So I guess for you, it's a way of, you'll still retain a lot of that traffic.
Correct.
It's finding out how to get Gumtree also placing in OpenAI, in Gemini, wherever it's going to be.
Exactly. I think for us, especially for Gumtree, as you said, people know what they're going to Gumtree for. So if you're looking to sell something, okay, cool, Gumtree is a place where I need to sell. So you don't necessarily need to go to a LLM or a Google and actually search where can I sell my buggy. We're a platform that can do that. So I think that's where we're gonna, or brands like us, where people have intent to use a platform, are gonna actually succeed because you don't need a search or an LLM to drive you to that platform. You know what you're going there for. So they're the platforms that are definitely going to win, where people are using it on a regular basis. I just think in terms of brands and publishers, you just have to find a different route of how you find these, people, because SEO is changing. It's more going to be AEO and catching them in those right places. And you've got the 0-click, which is an issue as well. So it's how do you navigate that? And I think you just have to think outside the box.
Yeah, it's as you can probably imagine, it's a problem that keeps me awake at night.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Trying to work out what we can do with this stuff, and it's we have a loyal audience, we have a strong niche, which I've talked to you about. I'm confident in what we do, but stuff like the AI creating their own landing pages using your content terrifies me. That
For sure,
and it's difficult, and it would be much harder to replicate a retail media site, a commerce site like yours, I suppose, because you already have all the inventories there,
for sure,
regularly updated, and there's less hops, I suppose, to
Yes.
finding a Gumtree. But no, it's a fascinating spot. Is AI helping with your day to day? How are you adapting to it?
I think with myself, I use it on a regular basis, and I think everyone's talking about it now, and you see it on LinkedIn, social media. It's that competition between, are you a ChatGPT person, or are you a Claude, or are you part of Anthropic? And I think in terms of AI, the best way to kind of use it is to make your day more seamlessly. It's all about working smarter, not necessarily harder. And you can see how it's evolving as well. You have AI agents where people are actually planning or teaching these agents to actually sort their day out, respond to emails, and actually giving it a whole schedule and an itinerary of what it needs to do. So it just shows you how AI is moving, and from the regular folks that are using it just from helping improve their emails, there's people that are using it at a 60% capacity, and they understand how they can make their life simpler with it. So I think I'm very into that AI space and wanting to learn, and there's so many opportunities to move forward. I remember Perplexity, they wanted to buy Chrome, and it's like that's where it's going to move forward. And I probably see Google move into that space where you have a Gemini web search bar, and it allows you to kind of navigate all these 0 clicks and stuff like that. So I think that's probably the next frontier of where LLMs and chatbots and stuff like that are going to go to.
Yeah, there's so much use for it, so much utility. I think, like you said, in terms of how you can structure workflows, what you can do with it. Obviously drawing a massive line with having it replace writers, etc. But that's, I'm from a journalistic background, so I would certainly plant my flag there. But it is helping, and it's pushing kind of that agentic side of it. It's pushing retail in a direction. It's pushing programmatic in a direction. Are you excited by the possibilities?
Yeah, I think there's pros and cons to it, and I think if brands, agencies, ad tech providers utilize it in the right way, it's just going to enhance our industry and take it to the next level. And for us, being in the industry, AI is not really new to us, because a lot of the automation that we've been doing has been, in DSPs, SSPs, helping automate creatives, doing A/B testing. So it's not necessarily new to us. It's just how you enhance it. And I do think there's gonna be a change, and we've seen it in terms of OpenAI and Anthropic. They have two different models. Anthropic, they're more focused to B2B and doing enterprise, whereas OpenAI, ChatGPT is all around scale and then figuring out how to monetize that scale. And as we all know, any business, once they plateau with numbers, the next way you have to monetize is through ads. So essentially, every business becomes an ad tech business at some point. And they've got so much data that they're going to be able to ingest the LLMs based on what people are searching, what they like, how they maneuver. So very looking forward to it, how the industry adjusts to AI and LLMs getting into the ad tech business.
Yeah, that point about you're dead on. Everything ends up in advertising, despite what the owners might say when they start out.
Yeah.
I mean, watching Sam Altman having to roll back so quickly on never advertising, last resort, straight into the ads.
It makes sense.
But then you've got Anthropic and the attack ads they ran with the Super Bowl.
Very cool ads.
Very good ads. Like, it has to be said. Despite we work in advertising.
Yeah.
So a shot across the advertising, but smart and funny. But no, very interesting how long it'll take Anthropic to have ads as well on their side.
For sure.
But no, and it does. It comes back to advertising does end up running everything, and it is how to monetize. And do you see? You're in the retail space with Gumtree.
Yeah.
How do you see that developing over the next few years? A bit of future gazing.
I think what we're going to generally start seeing is probably have more AI agents where people are, teaching that AI agent to actually understand how to purchase for them. So we've seen it with like OpenClaw, where they had that phase of people buying Mac Minis, allowing it to give the LLM data and access to their whole suite of stuff, and it was purchasing stuff that they saw that Sam liked or John liked, and it was going out and doing it. And I think that's going to be the next wave where somebody's going to build a bot, an AI bot that's going to allow people to put in what they like to do, their interests, and then it's just going to be buying stuff for you. I think that's probably the way we see it. And I saw an article from the CEO of Cloudflare, and he mentioned by 2027 there's going to be more AI bots on the internet than humans. So it shows you where it's going to.
And that's, I've read Dead Internet Theory, which is that there's already that case. It's already more bots and already more AI than there are humans using the web. But it's super interesting, and it's possible. It's funny how it's, I remember years ago, Amazon sold those buttons that you could stick on the wall, and when you pressed it, it reordered the item for you. And that seemed wild at the time. And now we're at the next level of that, which is, basically something your agent realizes that you're out of a product or something you might like. You give a budget, it goes out, and just does the whole transaction for you.
Yeah.
It's super interesting. And I guess the challenge for you guys in that is making sure you're the platform that the agent goes to buy as well as a human would.
For sure. And I think we're doing a lot of change in terms of what we're looking to. We're looking to become even more transactional. At the back end of last year, we offered pay and ship. So that allows you to actually pay and ship for a product on Gumtree in particular verticals. And by the end of the year, we want it to be running in all the verticals. So we want it to be more of a transactional loop. So people are staying on the platform, having that engagement. And I think what that's going to become is, like, as I said earlier, less about scale, more about how many people that you have of intent that are on your platform and they're there for a purpose. So anyone that's got a platform where there's intent and people are buying, I think they're going to win. And you've got all of the big, retail media platforms. You've got Amazon, you've got Pinterest. There's so many different verticals that you can tap into. So I think where people are showing that interest to buy stuff that's where you're going to win, because essentially any advertiser wants to sell product, and if people are in that mindset of buying, that's the right place to show up.
That's it. The intent's there. You've got the data. Well, Sam, I'm really glad we connected. I'm really glad you could come in and have a chat with me. Thank you so much for your time. I'll keep chatting to you about the retail landscape this year. Thanks again.
Thank you much for having me. Really appreciate it, and it was good connecting yesterday at the Index Exchange event as well in person.
It was, yeah. We owe Mr. Casale. Thanks for the drinks. Lovely. Thanks so much, Sam. Appreciate it.